Meantime, neighbors are angry, saying squatters moved into a foreclosed home months ago, causing lots of trouble. They call the Eyewitness News tip line. Reporter Carol Ferguson investigates what is being done and how fast. Carol?
Well, Kurt, there are some twists to this situation, but it starts with a house in Oildale that sat vacant, and then suddenly it was full of people and surrounded by junk and debris.
It looks awful to drive down a main highway in Oildale and you see all this garbage laying out there.
Right off China Grade Loop on the corner of Charleston.
There's a bunch of people living in there, different people all the time.
Neighbors say it was September when they moved in. The house had been vacant for a long time.
There's trash, there's people running in and out.
These neighbors don't want to be identified.
Right.
They're also mad about this trailer. It had been parked in the street, a hazard, and it's being demolished.
The fiberglass insulation was blowing all over from the trailer.
They're fed up and called to check.
And I was told that it was mortgage owned.
Spoken to the mortgage company, but nothing's been done. They said they're aware of the situation, but haven't done nothing.
Hi, I'm Carol Ferguson with Eyewitness News. So we went to ask. I'd checked already with code enforcement. They say it is bank-owned. The county now plans to clean up the mess, but didn't know anyone was living here. A woman did answer.
We rented from somebody and found out that they were not the owner.
She says they paid rent and she didn't want to say more. Can I get your name?
No.
Just the day before, the trailer had been moved off the street. The woman in the house says it belongs to friends and they're trying to get it moved. Code enforcement told me they just got a court order to put out bids and they will get the debris cleaned up soon.
I'd like to have the sheriffs out here to evict them.
As for the people here,
But I have like my rental agreement and everything from this lady.
the woman inside changed her mind and came out with some papers.
Seats and everything.
So at that point, we got to look at her side of the story. Turns out she did hear from the bank. So who rented them the house? What happens next? We'll have that coming up for you in our 6 o'clock report. Back to you.
Neighbors are furious tonight, saying squatters moved into a house months ago, and it's been nothing but trouble since then. They call the Eyewitness News tip line. Reporter Carol Ferguson investigates. Carol?
We discovered the county will clean up around this house in Oildale, but there's a twist. As we showed you at 5, people living in the house didn't want to talk to us at first, but then changed their minds. Get any chance I can talk to you? All the junk around the house, the partly demolished trailer, neighbors are frustrated. It's on Charleston, right off China Grade Loop.
This has been going on since September.
The houses just went downhill since then. There's trash, there's people running in and out.
These neighbors didn't want to be identified. The woman in the house decided to come out with papers in hand.
But I have like my rental agreement and everything from this lady.
Brianna Blankenship says they paid $1,400 deposit and $750 a month rent. But then, this is to you, Brianna, and demand made that you leave the house. In October, a letter from San Diego. The house is in foreclosure. A bank owns it. Blankenship says she tried to reach the woman who had rented them the house, Sandy Dale. We tried that too. 203 North Chester is listed on the rental agreement as the office, but we came here and obviously there's nothing here. I also called the number on the rental agreement and just got a recording. They're not accepting calls. Blankenship says she never got through and stopped paying rent. Why hasn't she moved out?
Because I'm protesting it. It's not my fault that somebody rented me a house that wasn't theirs.
Neighbors say the situation's been a hazard and eyesore. Code enforcement tells me the county will get contractors to clean up the debris.
And I understand it's a long process.
Took a long time. With all these neighbors calling, no one's done nothing.
Neighbors are glad about the cleanup, but what about the squatters?
I just want them to be gone. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'd like to have the sheriffs out here to evict them.
Now, I called code enforcement back when we verified that people are living in the house. They did not know that. That department will stand by, I'm told, for the eviction process, and we'll watch what happens on that. But as for the cleanup, this afternoon code enforcement says that will be done soon, maybe within a week or so. Back to you.